Recently, we have seen in the news that they have allowed podcasters, content creators to have an access in White House. Their spokesperson recently announced that they'll be welcome to White House. So, how do you see this development?
I don't know that that matters that much. I mean, there's a lot of old legacy things in the U.S. And even just it doesn't matter if you're at the press conference or not, because really it doesn't matter if you ask a question as long as you have access to the information. So my guess is that it's still like a legacy thing. It's something that kind of existed 100 years ago and is not that relevant to things today. Just like things like TV news and other types of, at least in America, TV news is less relevant than it used to be. It's mostly watched by people who are over 65 in America. And it's much less relevant than it was in the past. So I do think we are changing our news consumption. We're changing a lot of different types of things about how we access news, how we debate things, how we talk about things, different sources that we trust, et cetera. But watching news is less important today in America. And most people who really want to consume news are probably either listening to it on a podcast or they're reading it. But watching it is almost a dying thing, and most of the people who do it are dying.
So news industry and electronic media is no more relevant in USA. So people, you think that people are more interested?
Old news, TV news, which is kind of the old news, is somewhat of a dying art. Again, like your most of the audience is over 65. In some cases, the audience is over 75. It's a very old audience that's spending time on these things, and they're watching it on linear TV, which is going away. So fewer and fewer people have linear TV in America. So they're still accessing things on linear TV. They're watching the commercials in a linear way. If people are watching things today, they're watching it on connected TV in the US, or they're watching it on YouTube, or they're watching it on other types of connected channels. They're watching it via X, or they're watching it via Facebook or some other types of place if they're watching these things. But more and more, they're not watching it. When they're watching stuff, when they're actually spending time watching stuff, they're watching fiction. They're not watching nonfiction, or they're watching sports. That's what they do when they're watching, or they're watching like short-term videos. And then when they're actually consuming news, they're listening or they're reading. And the best news is still the news that you read. That's the most serious news, is the news that you read. In America, again, that's probably not true in many other countries, because many countries have a different news medium. But in America, the best news is the news that you read.
सब्सक्राइब करें और बेल दबाएं ताकि कोई खबर रह न जाए।